Yo, guys, what's going on? So, today I just kind of wanted to make a point because I want to express my opinion. Why not? I think that the conflict in Ukraine could be resolved in an instant, right? And I think that it could be resolved because I've got a solution. So, Russia's people or oligarchs, I'm not sure which one, owned Ukraine back in the day, right? It's in the old Russian map of the constitution and that. Fine. Now, the Ukrainian people became independent from Russia due to uh, democratic process and opposition, which essentially overthrew the rule in the area and became Ukrainian. And why have I got a solution to that? Because those people own the land fine, but it could be governed by Ukraine. Ukraine could make all of the tax income off of the land. The oligarchs or whoever owns the land would get the sale price of the land should they decide to sell it, should it be necessary to sell some of it for necessary projects and infrastructure, food, water, shelter, medicine production, government buildings, train lines, roads. So those people could get a fair amount of money, and I think that essentially they would still be legally allowed to go, right, I want to build something here. So, for example, whoever owns the land could go, I want to build a hotel in Kiev. And Ukraine decides, right, well, you could build a hotel in Kiev, but you can't build it right here because I'm going to do a bunch of development of houses and stuff for a school nearby. So you can build it over here. And the land would be distributed amongst the actual owners, but the Ukrainian government would benefit from it in tax. Things such as stamp duty. And why am I saying that? Well, if I was an English person, which I am an English person, but fine. If I owned land in Scotland and Scotland decided that they wanted to gain independence, well, I don't live in Scotland, but I own land in Scotland, so therefore I wouldn't get to vote because I'm not a citizen. I'm not a full-time resident of the area, and I'm not in the majority of the people there, obviously, because I don't live there. So I could have a holiday home in Scotland and not get to decide that. And the way it would work would be that I get the land, but you get to govern it. So if you want to set rules about what is done with that land, and let's say part of the land needed to be used for a train track section, then I could say, yeah, fine. And if it was necessary infrastructure, then it would have to be built through the land, and I would get paid for the land's worth. But if I wanted to build something there, like let's say wanted to build a farm, agriculture plot to get food for people, then Scotland might decide, okay, I need a certain amount of food for people in the country, so I'm going to need you to use part of your I'm going to need to use part of your food production to feed the people. So part of this land's going to be used for government development, basically. And essentially, yeah, I reckon that that would be the only sort of way to do it. Would be maybe not the only way to do it, but I think it would be a decent setup for everyone. I think everyone would sort of benefit from it. The landowners would profit. They would also get to decide what to do in a certain amount of places, and then just necessary stuff like roads and infrastructure and government buildings, which Russia might need to make anyway if they were still running Ukraine, then I think that's a pretty decent deal. where the landowners get to decide what to do with the commercial side of the plots. They could develop houses, or they could develop hotels, or any type of business, any type of manufacturing plants and that sort of thing. And they're necessary for social housing, or basically Ukraine's necessities would be asked of, not what the Ukraine's necessities would be sort of paid for, in terms of, right, we need this much land for the necessities, so we'll pay you that much because that's what it's worth, and then we use that land as we need, and anything else obviously would be left for the Russian landowners to develop as their projects. If they wanted to make a commercial plot for restaurants, or if they want to make a commercial plot for production, or for farming, or doing anything. The only element to this project contract, if you like, would be if the government needs something for the people, then the government will pay you for it, and you get that land somewhere else, redistributed. And so you know, if the people needed something, then the government would pay for that land, and then you become richer in the worth of that land. And if you wanted to build something and it was more convenient for it to be built somewhere else, then the government could decide, right, because this land plot's near schools, we don't want you to build a hotel there, we want you to give us this part of the land and build social housing, social infrastructure, so that in this model, the people of Ukraine would have their government, and their decision of who governs them, their human right to sovereignty, to personal sovereignty in deciding who they want to be governed by. And the owners of the land would get to profit from the land indefinitely, or up until there was a requirement for the land for government and social infrastructure, which would be exactly what the Russian government would do with that land. So yeah.